Now that we've prepared all of the information for your resume, it's time to put it together. Let's look at putting it together. The first and probably obvious step at this point, take all of that information we gathered and put it into your resume. Next, check your grammar and spelling. Poor spelling and grammar on a resume can be really off-putting to potential employers. A lot of employers view this as something that you have an unlimited amount of time to get right, so make sure that you don't have silly mistakes that may cost you the job. Then, review the ATS and content checklist. Both the grammar and spelling checklist and the ATS and content checklist are contained within the resources for this section. They'll walk you through the common mistakes people make and the places that you should be sure to check. It's very likely with the ATS and content checklist that you won't need to make any changes to your resume. I've mainly added this because it's a good last-minute reminder to verify everything is set up perfectly to get you your ideal job. Then, lastly, if you're running into some problems, troubleshoot them. Let's look at 2 common problems and how to solve them. First, your resume is too long. There are 2 main ways to address this. First, look at the sections you've included. If there are any sections you've included that aren't really relevant to the job you're applying for, consider removing those. The same is true if the content is very old. If you're referencing things that happened 5, 10, or more years ago, and you don't have newer points of reference to add, consider leaving those off your resume. This leads into the next point, which is review your content. It's possible that you're including way more information than what you need under different jobs. Or look at your earlier jobs. Often, the positions that you held early in your career shouldn't have as much detail as your more recent positions. This is going to vary a lot depending on where you are in your career. If you're 5 years into your career, then you likely will have every job on your resume, probably with some details. If you've been in the workplace for 20 years, it's likely you've held a pretty big variety of positions during that time. Don't feel like you have to include all of the details for your earlier positions. The second problem that people run into is not meeting all of the requirements. Think of the job description like a wish list. While the employer really hopes to find someone that has every single thing on their list, they understand that a lot of times 90% or 80% qualification is good enough. As long as you have some of the central key skills, apply anyway and make connections where you can. If you're lacking a specific experience or requirement that's listed, but you've done something else that you think would convey the knowledge or capabilities, include that on your resume and try to draw the connection. This just makes it even easier for the person reading your resume to see why you would still be a good fit even though you don't meet the requirement. Once you've put everything together, the only thing left to do is to go apply for that job.